Glues, glues, glues. There are so many choices on the market. Some of them work for some projects and fail at others. I wish I would have known everything I'm about to tell you about glues, because it is the essential make or break of a successful build. Interested? Here we go. If you've watched any of my other maker builds, I go into various little details that I think a lot of folks leave out. And gluing is one of those things that people tend to just gloss over. So today I'm going to show you some techniques and the glues that I found work best for me. I'm also interested to see any other makers out there that have other options, choices than I'm showing here. I have not been paid a penny for any of these, so this is an honest review to help save you time and money when you're building your projects. Here we go. Crazy Glue came out when I was a kid. We used to glue pennies to the floor. This stuff is good and it's bad. I used it on this project here, gluing these pieces together. It sets up almost immediately. I'm not a big fan of this stuff. It off-gasses a lot. And so you have to wear a mask, and this is not cheap. This is like $30 or $40 depending on what kind you get. If I can have any other option, I use something else. Barge. It's really good for taking and putting two pieces of rubber together, building all sorts of cosplay costumes, but you got to be really careful with it. You got to ventilate it. When I'm gluing big projects, I go outside and glue. I do not glue inside. If I'm gluing in my garage because it's raining outside, I've got a fan going. I've got the mask on because the last thing I want to do is live a little less because I made a builder project out of a heinous glue. Just regular kids glue. This stuff comes in handy for all sorts of projects. Light foam projects really works great. Let me show you a little bit trick here. If you noticed, I leave all the containers so they can hang them up against the wall. And so all I do is I just take a straight edge, a cutter, and I'll cut along the top, cut along the side, just enough so I can get the glue out. I just think I came up with it on my own as a way of keeping all the instructions on the back of a glue container. And I found that you know, my workbench gets kind of messy in the middle of a project. And then you slide it back on, you can put it right on your pegboard, and you're set to find your glue. So I tried to get into the little habit of that. A couple seconds worth of detail getting it back into that container and on the wall saves me minutes to sometimes hours looking for that glue or having to run out and buy another one. So this E6000, it comes in, I've had it in black. This is clear. I prefer the clear because it just dries better. There are times when this hasn't worked very well. There was a situation with this lightsaber where the rapid fuse glue worked great right here and on the eye, but it failed miserably with this bottom area, and I was trying to pull it out. Super glue, tried that, didn't work. So I ended up having to go back to my handy dandy E6000, put it in there, and now that isn't moving at all. And that brings me to another tip. Try your glues out on scrap. You don't want to try your glues out on your major project, because if you mess it up, then you either have to start over or it's going to look pretty obvious that you messed up. When I was building the lightsaber, I tried out the rivet. I glued the rapid fuse glue. Rapid fuse is good for me because I can play with the set on it. Literally in about 30 seconds, I count to about 60. It's pretty much there. I let it go for a day or so, and it's usually going to work for me really well. Because this plastic and this plastic just weren't bonding together, so I went with the E6000. E6000 has never let me down. The only problem with the E6000 is it takes a while to dry, and it shrinks. But I put a lot of E6000 glue in there, and as it dries, there's times when I have to put in some more glue, and it's also very liquidy, lack of a better term, makes it difficult to keep it in place, so it actually runs. In this case, I actually had to build a dam around the fixture that I was trying to do in the inside. So anytime I can use rapid fuse glue, I'm going to use it, and E6000. I got a really great deal a couple years ago during Black Friday on this Loctite. Used it for a while, but I'm not a big fan. First of all, they don't give you a lot, unlike the rapid fuse. One of the reasons why I tried the rapid fuse is because you get almost an entire ounce of glue, and I've used it for a dozen or more projects, and I'm not even halfway through the bottle yet. This stuff, they don't give you a lot. 0.14 ounces. Cap, everything about it was a little disappointing. You can get it out there and it works for a while, but there's just not enough of it. So I'm not a big fan of that. Another Loctite here, I went with volume because this here you have, 1.75 ounces. Tried it on a couple applications. It may work. I really haven't given it much opportunity. Maybe, it shows it with the wood and things like that because it just doesn't set up fast enough for me. I mean, it takes a long time to set up, but I'm going to still try to give this a chance in the future. Wood glues. I've basically gone away from wood glues on a lot of these smaller projects. If I can use anything but wood glues, I would do. But there are times like when you're going to make a lightweight project. This is for my tram cam on a kite or on a line. So there's a lot of little gluing up there. You can go with wood glue. I know people are big fans of Titebond or Gorilla Glue. They've tried them both out, and I'm just going to go with the one that's cheaper. And usually it's Titebond. Sorry, Gorilla Glue. The original Gorilla Glue that most people are familiar with actually foams up, and that can be kind of tough. On these spinner builds, you want just little pieces of glue because there's a plexi there, and you don't want it to show. You don't want it to be, here's a little situation where I got a little bit of glue on there, and you can barely see it, but I can see it. And this is where the Rapid Fuse really came in. So there you go. My hope for this video is that you go out and get the best glue that you need for the job that you're going to do. Stay tuned for future videos where I'll talk about tapes and other design and maker techniques to help save you time and money on your next project. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching.